Hello everybody, many of you might have seen this build for the Taker box, or otherwise known as the Taker Petting Zoo by Shasha, that you might have seen in Shasha's stream the other day. Now this is it in my own base while I was on an endurance wave, and this is on my Valley amplifier. Now this build is basically aimed at being used alongside the lighthouse build, which is currently around my amplifier, because the lighthouse build is going to stop you being able to be taken by the takers, and then this lighthouse works with the taker box, because the takers are going to be trying to go up into the sort of the box area to be able to try and slap you. However, they still aren't actually able to get to you, and all they'll do is actually just go around in circles. Now there's different ways you can actually do this build, but this one fits in with my Valley because I actually get the mini bosses and the smashers to walk along the top of the verge before coming to the corner there, and I can use it to also knock them into the lava. However, for now I'm just showing this. So yeah, this is it really. The build actually uses those flame grill trap which I can put on the floor. Only really used this because originally this was designed to be used for the Fortnite DB challenge, which I wanted to post off hopefully sometime for doing like the kill takers with the flame grill, well above flame grill, and obviously they phase up through the floor through the flame grill, and you can just kill them while they're in this area. Something you can do, you can actually just fully wall this off. I've left it open in this instance because it's easier to actually see and show off the footage of what's going on, but you can just box this off and they'll phase in and out. So you can just load this thing up with broadsides and just decimate anything that goes in there. Only problem is you might not be able to see it if you want to see it for any reason. Now yeah, so I'll just quickly show how I built this in with Shasha's game. Okay, so I was panicking then because I thought my clip got somewhat corrupted, but here it is. So this was in the endurance wave in Shasha's so here we are. This is Shasha's storm shield. She was trying to be doing her storm shields, and we'd built this base on top. So what I'd done is I'd edited down all the ramps which would then be connected up to the top, and this would then got rid of the cover off the top, and this had made this kind of shape which I then spun around and put the walls around to create the lighthouse shape. From here I decided what I'll do is I'll build it up in the corner, because it'd be quite funny for them to see from this kind of point, because the takers get nice and close. It's quite fun to be able to see them right in front of your face. So what I've done is I'd jumped up and I'd built the corner piece just in the opposite sides where I have it in my own base, and then just made sure I put the little walls. This just stops takers kind of like flying into you, because you are kind of putting them on your same level. They can have a bit of a better chance to be able to aggro onto you. It just stops any kind of the odd things happening. So yeah, but if you stand on this, like my lighthouse build, what you're going to do is just stand still and you're not going to jump, right? They do find it a lot harder to get you if you've got the added wall on the top instead of not having it, which is the third wall up, the little 1/3 wall. But this was just so you can actually see into it. Now what I'd done is I'd placed the gas trap above and then put the flame grill below, because again it was just trying to show off how I was going to be trying to do a challenge. And yeah, this is what would happen. They phase up into it, realise they can't get you, and phase back down, or just slide off the sides. So then you can, as again, put the broadsides there. You can fully box it off again. As you can see, they go up into it and broadsides just obliterate the takers. And yeah, that's really how to do it. Basically use my lighthouse build, and you can attach these onto one of the corners. So yeah, the reason for actually using this build with the lighthouse was because what happened is after the update, the takers started to actually despawn right by the amplifier, and it would actually end up damaging the amplifier. So this just helped remedy those kind of issues. Now this is also a slightly different way of building it, where you can actually build on the sides of the amplifier as well. You just have to make sure you build a wall up the top if you're going to be placing the floor there. However, I wouldn't recommend that. You just place it one tile high and they'll keep going round and round and phasing up through the ground and then dropping off the sides. And yeah, that's really what's gonna keep happening. So as players, you can actually look again. So you see they come up through the floor. He comes up through the second ceiling to be able to get better height, but normally if you didn't have the floor above, they'll just come up and drop off the corners. And yeah, that's it. They'll just keep circling around taking damage. You just have to put your make sure you got the walls round the second wall up, so right around where you're standing on the amplifier, and then they won't be able to fly at you and attack you. So yeah, that's it. I hope you liked that, and I'll see you around. Hey everyone, so we're just here in my base, and this is just a skeleton of the taker box design that you'd seen in the previous clips. Now this just marks a few different ways that you can do it. So what you'd want to do is just assume that there will be extra walls here. So imagine the rest of your base, you can just pretend there's like other walls around here to whatever you have on your base. I know a lot of people have walls built all the way around, especially since the changes to the AI, and it's quite necessary to have more walls now. So imagine that the other walls are there. So what we have here is a nice naked amplifier, which I can show you on. So to start with, what we're going to have is this lighthouse bit. Now you're going to be putting these archways in one of the corners. Now what I'd recommend is, since the changes to aggro, what you might want to do is just make sure that you stick these in a corner that you're not getting where they're going to be destroying. So if they start destroying it, try a different corner of your amplifier. And that's the easiest way I could kind of maybe get to explain it. But the corners will then be able to have something in place like this. So on top of the lighthouse, you're then going to place these 4 little walls, or just the ones on the side that you're actually going to be placing the taker box on, and then these platforms. So for instance, for this corner, we have this platform, which is placed on top of the corner of the lighthouse. And in this, we are going to be placing a floor with a couple of walls on the outside and then the gas above. Now this is for killing them. If you don't want to be killing them, what you can do is just leave it as an empty kind of shell with just like the floor, and they'll come up into the floor and then jump off and just go around in circles. This also helps to remedy the fact that a little while ago, when they made changes also to stuff that was happening, my build for the lighthouse, there was becoming some problems with it where the takers would actually start despawning around the amplifier because they wouldn't be able to get you, and then it would actually deal damage to the amplifier. So this also, having one of these taker boxes, even if you aren't doing damage to them, can just help them, stop them from actually just despawning on your amp and doing damage to it. But yeah, if you wanna kill them, especially if you wanna do it above one of these, you can have this and they'll just come up and cycle round. You can edit these other walls to put other like broadsides on them and kill them a lot easier with that as well. However, I've left it like this for now because it's really fun to be able to look in and make people shit themselves almost looking at the takers right in front of their face. Another design, what we can do is actually have this one on the side. So this one will be positioned right above one of the edges. So if this was like one of your edges, you'll see this lines up just above it. Now something you might need to do is actually not have the walls on the side. You might want to be doing this because just make sure they don't be sliding up the walls. But normally they would try and come through under here, and they'll phase up through the floor because they're wanting to phase up to get you. Now what you saw in the other clip just right at the end is that they'll get up into this box. Hold on a minute, let me get through please. Excuse me. Right, so once into this box, as you can see, they'll phase up through here, and once they phase into here, they'll then be hit by all these traps, and then want to go through the ceiling. So once they come into here, oh, they won't be able to get you as well from this point. Just have this wall in the way. Once they come through there, they're then going to phase through this one, and then also get hit by these traps. It's quite good to have the. You need to have the wall here. If you don't, they'll come for you as well. There are scenarios in which they won't actually come through, they will just float right here and they won't come through, but I've had a few where they will literally come and slap you, so I just don't want that happening. So a more reliable build for this is sticking with the ones in the corners, just making sure that you got the wall here, and don't, whatever you do, don't jump when you're on the amplifier. So anything you do with this build, you cannot have this floor piece here, you can't have anything here, you can't have this, you can't have a pyramid, no structures whatsoever on top of this, you have to be on the amp. And then also, if you get ones that sort of fly up to this height, having these barriers, even these low ones, are absolutely brilliant. So these all the way around, and these just stop any ones which try and fly into you. It'll look like there's an invisible wall kind of around them as they try and smack you. Yeah, and if you want another version, something you can do is, so if I build it on this side, is if you're just covering the base quite simply, if you've just kind of got one of these and you haven't got all these extra corners, then they'll come up, I'll get rid of these, they'll come up, go into the floor here, into this section, realise, oh no, they can't get me, and then jump back down into the corner again, and they'll just cycle around and keep doing this. What you want to do though is when you're trying to do this and you're trying to get them into the taker box, something which really helps is if you have the host of the game whose storm shield it's going to be, just stand slightly more towards that side rather than away from it. You'll just find that the takers will more congregate towards the direction of that you're standing on the amplifier. So for this one, I'll just stand slightly to this side. You don't want to get insanely close. You can get a bit too close. Like they'll barely touch you, but it'll be, just try not to fall off or anything. But yeah, you'll stand on that end and they should go that side. If I stand on this side, they'll go into this one. If I stand over here, they'll go into this one. There might be a few exceptions where some's gone round to another way, but that is mostly how it is going to work. So this is just to summarise. The areas in which the takers will actually come through will be under something like this floor. They'll come up and then come off the sides. Around here they will go through this floor and then try to phase up, and they will keep going until they'll get into this box, and once they're in this box they'll then go up into the next box and come above into here, and then they should go down. However, if you have messed up with their aggro bit, they can also just start coming through the wall, so don't shoot them and piss them off or try to jump in the air when you're trying to do something on this side, because they will just come through and bitch slap you, so you don't want that. So yeah, if I was to recommend any, I'd definitely recommend that you use this corner build because it seems to be the most safest. So if we just go in here, it's just this, and they won't be able to pass through these barriers, and it's very safe to shoot them with rockets, piss them off. I'll just recommend not jumping still. They can still fly at you, but they'll have like this almost like invisible wall barrier and they won't be able to get you, but it's not recommended. If you still manage to aggro one of them into the sky, they can possibly still have a chance to get you. I won't recommend it. So just stand on the amplifier, don't jump, shoot them to your heart's content, and get rid of the takers! Right, so you see the takers will start trying to come up now. So here's a taker. Come on. And up he comes through the floor and back down again. And through this side. He's up the floor. Up into the next one. You can see him in here. Hello! Hi, Mr. Taker. Hello! How are you? Hello! And he's off again. So yeah, that's just having that right there. Now if we can just show him on this side. This is the last side. Come on. Okay, so you can't have this lower wall. He came straight over there, that's useful. Okie dokie. So back on this, so on this amp, because you can't have the wall like here. As you see, like that one time they could have got you, but this time they didn't. Yeah, this is also the problem with the new AI. The smashers will actually try and destroy these archways as well. And yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this. Try it in your base and let me know how it's going.